Yo, what's going on, guys? It's your boy, Atypical Security Guard. Today, I want to talk about the Kimber K6xs, but more importantly, we're going to be talking about the holsters. So, I am a huge fan of cheap holsters that you can find on Amazon, generally for, my Glock 43X, and definitely for any of the revolvers that I use. I just find these like $30, $45 holsters, and to be honest with you, they've worked great. For a revolver, you want something that's going to cover the trigger guard, something that you can wear in an appendix position. And I have found that this holster here, I'm not even sure what the company is. It's worked really well for the Kimber K6s. Now, this footprint on this holster for this style of firearm, even though it's very comparable to the Ruger LCR, the size of the two holsters are vastly, vastly different, right? So basically, the same type of holster for the same type of firearm. This is the Kimber K6xs holster right here. This is a comparable holster for the Ruger LCR Copper Mule. And you can see that the footprint on both of these holsters is vastly different. There's a lot of extra space that's taken up on the K6xs. I'm not quite sure why they went with a design like that, but I can tell you in carrying both of these in appendix, this takes up so much more space than this, right? And the firearms are basically, let's go ahead and take this out, basically the same size. So that's the Ruger, and this is the Kimber. Not a lot of difference. You will notice in the frame here, just excuse me, I have traded out the grip on the Ruger with a mono grip, a Halog mono grip. But in terms of the size of the firearm itself, they are very, very similar. A little bit smaller handle here with the original grip that's on the XS. The issue, though, again, it's the holsters. So this is the holster that I'm using for the Ruger. This is the holster that I'm using for the Kimber K6xs. Now, guys, remember, if you're carrying an appendix inside the waistband, every little bit matters. And having this, this wedge on the outside here, it just takes up a little bit more space. And I have to get it right in the right spot of the inside of my thigh in order to not have it rub up against me and cause chafing. Now, that being said, I don't have a problem carrying that firearm in this holster. And up to this date, it's been the best, situation that I could have in terms of wanting to have a Kydex holster with these types of clips. I'm a big fan of these clips. Well, I got an email from Harry's Holsters. And the email just said, hey, look, we've seen your videos on the Kimber K6xs. We've seen your videos on, how much you're a fan of revolvers in general. Would you be willing to take a look at one of our holsters? And I'm like, yeah. Now, this is not the first company that's reached out to me and asked if I would do a review on their products. Generally, the things that I've received have not been anything that I would wear or carry. And if I'm not going to wear or carry them, I don't, really take the time to come onto the channel and share them with you. But guys, I'm going to tell you, this holster, it blew me away. Give me 1 second here. This is the holster from Harry's. Look how small that is. I mean, the footprint on that is probably smaller than the footprint on the Ruger LCR. Yeah, I'm going to say that they're probably about the same size. I mean, this is super, super small. It's not utilizing any extra material. I mean, it's covering that trigger guard. They're giving you a wing right here. They're using the same type of clips. And one of the great things about the clips on the Harry's holster is that they're using these self-locking screws. I can't know if you guys can see those in there. They're using these self-locking screws that honestly, every other company should be using that, because in the military, we use self-locking screws. Huge fan of those. But the footprint on this is absolutely phenomenal. So I'm going to pick up the K6xs right here just to show you guys that there are no rounds in the firearm. It is clear. I mean, guys, look at that. I mean, that's bare bones, bare minimum, minimalistic holster. and it's covering everything that it needs to. It's got the clips that I'm a fan of. It's got the wing. It's got the self-locking internal screws. Like it blew my mind when I opened this up and I saw this. I was like, you got to be kidding me. I mean, this is quite frankly, I know it's going to sound like I'm gassing you guys up, but out of all the holsters that I have, even with my, auto loaders that they go to my, Glock 43X or, my Glock 45, this is one of the best holsters that I've ever used. The design is just so perfect. It's minimalistic. It meets all of the needs of a holster that I would want for a gun like this. And the fact that I have it for the K6xs, which is one of my favorite guns right now, I was just absolutely blown away. And I cannot stress enough the quality and the build. There we go. The quality and the build of that holster. I mean, it is just phenomenal. They really did knock it out of the park. Now, I'm looking on the box here. I don't see a uh, a price or anything on it. It's called the Icon 2.0 Kimber K6s right hand holster. Okay. So this you can find on harrysholsters.com. And again, it is the Icon 2.0 Kimber K6s holster. But again, guys, look, this is the original holster that I've been using with that firearm. And this is the Harry's holster. Such a more slim down, minimalistic profile. And I'm telling you guys, it is, I don't know how much they're charging for this thing, but it's worth it. I would pay twice what I paid for this. I think I paid $35, maybe $40 for this. I would happily pay between 65 and $80 for this holster. It's very well constructed. It's thick. It's got great, a great clip on it. And then again, just the footprint alone, just the footprint alone. That is so sweet. I love it. I love it. Huge fan of this, guys. And I'm gonna be honest with you, because of the difference in the holster that I normally have to wear with this, instead of carrying the K6xs, which is a far superior gun in my opinion to the Ruger LCR, I've actually been carrying the Ruger LCR based on the fact that the profile is so much smaller when it's in that holster versus the original holster I was using with the K6. But now I have this as an option, and I can now go to the K6xs and have just as slim, if not slimmer, of a profile. Let me get these things side by side. I'm not sure if we can get a good side by side comparison, but man, look at that. Like that's awesome. That's awesome. This is going into the holster graveyard. Okay. This is going to become a backup holster. And this firearm, the Ruger LCR, that I'm a huge fan of, mostly because of the comfort, which is why I kind of defer to this firearm. I can wear it all day, not have any issues, not have to worry about it pinching or snagging or rubbing in any sort of way. This can now go over here and I can start carrying the firearm that I really want to carry. That holster is a game changer. All right. Harry's holsters, you guys have knocked it out of the park. I am extremely impressed, and I cannot tell you how much I am appreciative to have this. And I hope I get to keep this holster because I'm looking forward to using it. All right. All right, guys. Harry's holsters, the Icon 2.0 for the Kimber K6s.